Hello lovelies, welcome back to Alake Gay YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be learning how to make these beautiful bralettes. So if you're interested in learning how to make these, please continue to watch this video. If you're new here, please kindly subscribe. To all my subscribers, thank you very much. I really appreciate your support. So now let's move on to the cutting table. So these are the measurements again to need your bust point to your underbust, your bust panty, that's your nipple to nipple, and your round on the bust. So now to calculate this, you can just easily use your shoulder to under bust minus your shoulder to nipple point. My shoulder to under bust is 14, and my shoulder to the nipple point, that's my bust point, is 11. So 14 minus 11 equals to 3 inches. So after getting yours might be 3, 4, or even 5. I don't know the difference. So you're going to multiply it by 6. So multiply by 2. So mine is 3. So 3 times 2 equals to 6. That's why I mark 6 inches on my pattern paper right there. And I square down the line. So after marking that, I'm going to now divide whatever I get by 2. That is, my 6 divided by 2 equals to 3 inches. And I'm just going to square down that line like that. So that means I have 3 lines there. So this line at the bottom will be the under bust line. This middle line will be the bust point. And the upper line will be the chest line. So that's how you're going to mark it for yourself too. So now the next thing I'll be marking is my bust span. My bust span, that's nipple to nipple, is 7 inches. So it gets divided by 2. My 7 divided by 2 equals 3.5. And I mark 3.5 on the under bust line and also on the bust point line. So at the chest line, instead of marking 3.5, I'm going to be adding 1 inch to that and mark 4.5. So marking this, you're not going to make it straight. You're going to make your dart on the chest line bend a little bit. So we're not going to be having a straight line like so. So from the chest line, connect to your bust point line and also to your on the bust line. So that's exactly what I do right now. So the next thing I'll do now is to get the amount of dart I'll be taking. And to get the amount of dart I'll be taking, again to divide your round bust circumference divided by 4, then your under bust circumference divided by 4. So my bust is 34. So 34 divided by 4 equals to 8.5. And my round under bust is 28. So 28 divided by 4 equals to 7. So 8.5 minus 7 equals to 1.5. So 1.5 is the amount of that I'll be taking. So yours might be more than that. So just calculate yours and take in the dart. So make sure you divide that dart equally on the under bust line. So I've marked that 0.5 on both sides, and from the bust point line I come down by 0.5 in order to create the dart leg, and also on the bust point line I go up by 0.5, and that is where I will be stopping my dart. So can you see? So I'm just connecting my dart leg from the 0.5 from the under bust line. As you see, I connected it like so. Then on the chest line, instead of taking my dart 0.75 on both sides, I will be taking less on the side that is towards to the center and more on the side that is towards to the side. So from the center, you can see where I'm placing my tape measure. I'll be taking 0.5. You know the amount of that I'm supposed to take is 0.5. So I'll be taking 0.5 on this side. On the other side, I take 1 inch. So just make sure to do that. So I'm connecting the dart leg. Take less. If yours is 2 inches, you can do 0.75 on one side and 1.5 on the other side. I hope we get that. So now the next thing I'll be taking is my round underbust measurement. My round underbust is 28. So 28 divided by 4 equals to 7 inches. But you know I've taken in 1.5 for that on the underbust line. So you can just easily add your dart to that. That is, my dart, the amount of dart I take is 1.5. So 1.5 plus 7 inches, that is the quarter of my round underbust. My underbust is 28. So 28 divided by 4 equals to 7. That means I'm going to mark 8.5. And that's exactly what I mark right there. So from where I mark the 8.5, mark 0.5 up. And from the center there, mark 0.5 up too. So that's how you're going to do it. So after marking that, from the way you mark your 0.5, now connect it straight to the first dart leg on the chest line. Please just watch how I'm doing that. Can you see? From the way I come up by 0.5, I mark to the first dart leg, and from this other side too, from where I go up by 0.5, I connect to the second dart leg, and that is that. And then from where you come up by 0.5, just mark straight to the first dart leg at the bottom, and also on the other side from that point to you mark straight to the second dart leg, and that is it. So at the middle point here, so in order not to have sharp edge, just make sure you use your curve ruler to smoothen it at the midpoint, so for it to be curvy there and for it not to just be kind of sharp. So can you see, just label it. So the side that is smaller is number 1 and the other side that is bigger is number 2. Make sure you label it. Labeling is very, very important at this point. So I'm still trying to smoothen it. If you find any line too sharp, make sure you smoothen the line. It's important. No sharp edge. Make sure it's curvy. So the next thing I'm doing now is just to cut off the pattern paper. My patterns, I'm just going to be cutting on my pattern. I'm cutting the number 1 now. Can you see how I'm cutting it? This is just simple to make, but if you don't get it, please watch first, practice, then you can, from 1 to 2 practice, you'll be good with this. So I'm just cutting off my pattern paper. Make sure you follow the curved lines like so. This is just how you're going to make your bralette. So after cutting now, the next thing is for me to cut on the fabric. And if you're cutting on the fabric, on here I have my fabric folded into 4. You need to cut 4 for each. That is, number 1, you're going to cut 4 pieces. Number 2, you're going to cut 4 pieces too. So if I cut for 4 pieces for each because I'll be using the same fabric for lining. But if you're not using the same fabric for lining, make sure you cut 2 for different of them. That is, number 1, you're going to cut 2 for the main piece and 2 for lining. That's what I make it for. And number 2 you're going to cut 2 for main fabric and 2 for lining. So all together you're going to have 8 pieces of number 1 and number 2 all together. So around it, like there, I added 0.75 to all the sides, bottom, the sides, in order to have allowance to sew it together. So the next thing I'll be cutting now is my band. The width of my band is 4 inches and the length is my round underbust. So that is it. So I'm just going to have that. So I cut 2. So one will be for the main and the other one will be for the lining. So just cut 2 for your band too. So the next thing I'm cutting right now is my strap. So what happened here was that I lost the clip of where I showed us how to join these together. I'm so sorry. So I'm just using this. So I use the same pattern to cut these two in order to show us how to sew it. So what you're going to do is, if you're sewing this together, you're going to pick one from number 1 and one from number 2 and going to place them together just as I'm placing it together, and just sew it round. The sewing is just simple like that. Just sew it round. Pick one for number 1 and pick one for number 2. Just place them right side facing the right side and just going to join together. I want to pad this. That means if you want to pad it, you're going to be padding your main piece. So you pad 2 from number 1 and 2 from number 2. So that means that 2, once you pick one from number 1 and one from number 2, one will serve as the 1 cup, and if you pick one from another one from number 1, another 2 from number 2, another one from number 2, you sew it together padded, then that will serve as number 2 cup. So then you're going to sew the lining together. That means you're going to be having 4 pieces after you sew number 1 and number 2 together. So that 4 pieces, 2 will serve for main piece. Can you see? This is my, I've sewn number 1 and number 2 together. I padded this. Can you see? So this is 1 cup and this is cup 2. These are the main one and these are the lining. I did not pad the lining. I did not add an interface, but if you want, you might add interface. And padding too is optional. You might not want to pad yours. You can just, if you don't pad yours, just add interface to it. Just add your EST to this. So right now I'm just placing the lining on the main cup like this. So now, you know the strap that I talked about earlier, you're just going to place it. Can you see? Just watch where I'm placing it. Right on where you join the curves together, you're going to place your strap there like so. Then you place your lining on top of it. So the second one too, I'm going to place my strap right where I join the cup together. Then I'm going to place my lining. This is just that simple. So my strap is 40 inches long. You might want yours to be shorter or longer than that, depending on how long you want the strap to be. So now I'm just going to go ahead and join it round. Can you see how I'm using my hand to trace? That's where you're going to join it together. So I'll take it to the same machine. You can use your pin to hold it down so that the strap will not move away from where you place it. So right now I've already joined it together. Can you see? So after joining together, next thing I'll do is to notch round. This will enable your cup to lay properly. Like when you turn it to the right side, the lining is going to lay properly without any kind of bulging. So you must notch round for the two cups. So I'm notching around the second one too. So make sure you notch it very well. Don't just notch it. Make sure you notch it. This will enable the cup to lay properly once you turn it to the right side. So after notching around, I'm just going to turn this to the right side. So can you see this is it? But padding this will really give it this cup effect. So I will suggest you pad it, but it is optional. You may not want to pad yours. So this is it. Can you see? It's also beautiful. So the next thing I'll do is just to go ahead and iron. Make sure you, after this process, after joining it and notching, make sure you go ahead and iron this so that you're going to keep the lining in bay. So just make sure to iron this. So I'll go ahead and iron this. Use your tailor's arm or your breast ball to iron this. So just iron it flat. So I'll go ahead and iron this. So I've already ironed this. Can you see how it's looking already? So the next thing I'll get is my waistband. So now I will not be using my total waistband length because I'll be using loop hole at the back. So I'll be cutting off, I've cut off part. So my round order bust is 28, and right there on this pattern paper I have about 24.5. so that means I removed 3.5 from my. So at the middle point here, I'm going to notch it. Can you see that I notch at the center? So make sure you notch the center of your waistband. So after cutting the amount of your waistband using your round underbust circumference, you're going to notch the two band, that is the main piece and also the lining. So after you've notched it, you're going to take one of your curves and place it right there. Just watch how I'm going to do mine. Place your curve just the way I'm placing it, right at where you notch. Your cup should be right where you notched at the center. So make sure you place it right there. Please, this point you're going to need to pin it down. Make sure to pin this down. It may not be easy because you know you've padded this already and it will just kind of be heavy. So make sure you just you bring the second cup right beside the first one that you pin down. Pin the second cup down too. So can you see how it's looking? So make sure you pin it very well, no space in between. So after that, you're going to place your lining on top of it, right the way I'm placing it right now. So you must place it very well like that and go and run a stitch straight down. So I'll take to the same machine and run the stitch straight down. So right now I've already run my stitch straight down. Can you see how it's looking right now? So you can turn it to the other side. Can you see the way it's looking? So right there, to join the other side of the band, you know I told us earlier that you're going to be joining both sides of the band. Push in your cups because you want it to be neat in the everywhere, no anything showing. So we're going to be joining it in. So make sure you push in your cup very well, and you're going to just join it together by the side by 0.5 inch. So I'll use 0.5 to join it together. So right here I've already joined it together. Can you see? So right now, after joining it together, make sure you pull out your cups, your strap and your cups. This is going to be a bit kind of not so easy because but it will still be easy. Just be pulling it out little by little. Don't rush that you're not going to tear your fabric. Just do it. So I'm just going to do that right there. So I've pulled out my, can you see? This is how it's looking right now. So the next thing is, this is my cups right here. I'm going to go ahead and iron this. You need to go ahead and iron this in order for the waistband to lay properly. So I'm going to go ahead and iron this. So I'm going to go ahead and iron this flat. It is so much needed for me to iron this. But before ironing that, I'm going to add my strap to this, and my loop hole, I told us we're going to be having loop hole at the back. So the length of each of my loop hole, because I'll be creating the channel for the strap to pass through, so that's it. So the length of it is, I cut about 4 inches for each. So for 4 inches, and I will need 3 on each side. So that means I cut 6 of 4 inches long for the channels that I want to create for the loop hole. So I cut 3 for one side and 3 for the other side, so that makes the total of 6. So I'm just cutting that right there. So make sure you use, after cutting it, so the next thing now is just place it, bring one side of your band, fold it in, fold ½ inch in. After folding the ½ inch in, just place in your channels, fold it together at the center, fold it together into 2, and just push it in about 0.52 for this, join it together. Once you fold in your loop holes, your channels, just going to fold it in by ½ inch. I'm doing the second side already. I've done the first side, so I'm just going to trim off a little bit on this side here, and after trimming it off, I have 0. So I'll go folding it in by 0.5. Then my channels too, I'll fold it together and push it in by 0.5. So I'm going to do the same for the 3. Just do 3 is okay. So I'm going to do that. So the one that is on the floor, I'm just going to pick it up again. You can use your pin to hold this down. I don't even know why I didn't use pin here, but make sure you use your pin to hold it down if you don't want it to be moving away like this. So use your pin to hold it down. So take it to the same machine and sew it straight. So I'll sew mine on both sides, can you see? And I'll go ahead and iron this. So I've ironed it here, can you see? So the next thing is I want to show us how to connect our strap, like how to make our strap at the back, how to cross it. So I'm just going to cross it like this and put it in on one side. Just watch I'm going to do. After crossing it, I'll push it in from the first channel. Then on the second channel, you're going to cross it again, and the second one too, you cross it to enter through the second channel, and you pick it up from there, cross it on, you enter it to the third channel, and that's it. That's going to lace your bar. That's going to lace it at the back like that. It's just so simple. And here we have our bralette. This is so simple to make. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a huge thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel if you've not subscribed. Like, comment, and also share your thoughts with me in the comment section. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any question, let me know. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you've not subscribed, please kindly subscribe and turn on the notification to catch you in my next tutorial. Bye.